My people, in this video, according to this man with white beer,
I will do Thanksgiving for this matter.
ladies and gentlemen, not every white beer signifies wisdom. Not every white beer signifies wisdom.
So how do you expect me to convince you? Let me step one by one. IPOB is attacking the police, is attacking the army, is attacking INEC, government institutions, killing our men in service. And the herdsmen are kidnapping children, not to kill them, to get money. So how can you compare somebody who's killing our gallant men in the armed forces directly, attacking them, to somebody who's kidnapping children to make money, not to kill them? Look, we need some fairness in what we are doing.
So, according to this man, who is saying the IPOB, who are Igbos fighting for their own freedom in Nigeria. They are fighting for their own freedom, that they want to separate themselves from Nigeria. And now, the Fulani herdsmen who are kidnapping and demanding for ransom, according to him, is justifying these two crimes, that the people who are fighting for their own freedom are more wicked than those who are kidnapping little children and demanding for ransom. Gentlemen, this is how far Nigerian old papa, old grandpa, old papa thinking. Look at their level of thinking. These are Nigerian. You will see him in a video with bandit and saying they are negotiating. They are negotiating with bandits, with kidnappers who can unalive, sell organs. He is negotiating with them on behalf of the government. They want to have peace talk. This is the man. You will see him in videos with bandits, with kidnappers, saying he is negotiating with them. And in some of his videos, he said, you cannot stop terrorists completely. So he is the one romancing them so that, lying to them so that they will stop. These are the kind of people Nigeria have as leaders. Even me, where are they here with that white beer, I will never think like the way this man is thinking. And I'm surprised. You see him on the media everywhere defending bandits and Nigerian youth. You are watching. You are watching. This is the level Nigerian has become into. Lawlessness. Not even the people with gray hair don't think properly for the country. Ladies and gentlemen, even I don't think a 13-year-old Ghanaian like the way this old papa is thinking. So you are justifying kidnapping. Why the bandit won't kidnap him too? If you don't have hands, go. Why are they allowing him without kidnapping him? They for kidnap you. When you go no. Say if kidnapping is better than people who are fighting for their own freedom. It is better to even negotiate with the IPOB, the Igbos, that my Igbo people, we are all one Nigeria. Let's come together. We will let you people come into governance. We will let you people also be part of the presidency. And then you people will negotiate. It will be better negotiating with criminals. Anyway, still to the Nash.
This country called Nigeria na cruise country. You can you imagine this coming from an imam's mouth? For those of you who don't know who an imam is like the Muslim pastor, and this is what is coming out of his mouth. So you can imagine. All right, let's be positive here. All right, so he is trying to support the bandits, which let's say Fulani herdsmen. If not that, then what is the meaning of what he just said? Is it because those people, the Fulanis are Muslims, so that's the reason why he is comparing them to the Biafrans? I don't understand. Like, this country called Nigeria, are you sure things is gonna be okay anytime soon? Because hey, not be only tribalism they separate us, religion too. Naija, which way now? If an imam will open his mouth to say all of this, he's doing comparison. Hey, then we don't die for Nigeria now. We don't die for Nigeria. This country would not be better anytime soon. And it hurts me because the poor masses are the ones suffering. You see that this imam now, his family members are not affected in any way. If they are affected, he will not sit down and split what he said. Oh, I don't know what made him do this, but whatever it is, I'm very disappointed. I never expected things like this to come out of an imam's mouth. Choi!
First of all, before I speak about the difference between colonizers and missionaries, let me say this in relation to the video I did not long ago. Now, after I made that video and I said Mutaka should not take sides, some Muslims came into the comment section to insult me, calling me a fool, and I'm not intelligent, I'm a hypocrite, I'm a this, I'm a that. And then they said they were going to follow me. Look, if me defending my religion will make me your enemy, so be it, I don't care. If you hate me, if you dislike me because I am defending my religion, I don't care. You understand? If you want to make me your enemy, so be it, I don't care. Since I started this content creation thing, not once have I ever discriminated or said any bad thing about any religion, tribe, or region in Ghana. Even in spite of all these Wesley girls thing, I have never ever said anything bad about the Muslims. And then you say, because I'm defending me, my religion, you want to make me your enemy. So be it, so be it. Now let's get to it. Colonizers came to Africa here to take our resources and also take us. That is colonizers. Missionaries came to Africa here to help build schools and spread the word. That is why missionaries came here. So I will limit only this to Ghana. So colonizers first came to Ghana in 1471, and it was not the British that came, it was the Portuguese. And in 1482, they built the Elmina Castle. It was not built by the British, it was built by the Portuguese. And then in 1874, the British officially proclaimed the Gold Coast as their colony. So the Portuguese were the first that came here, and then in 1874, the British took over. Those are colonizers. So they were taking our resources and everything. Those were not missionaries. Now, in 1482, after the building of the Elmina Castle, that was when the first missionary came to Ghana, and they were brought in by the Portuguese. They were not brought in to build schools, so the Portuguese actually brought them here to be preaching to their children, the mulattoes, the ones that they were having with the black women here. The Portuguese brought them here to be preaching to them. When those colonizers don't build school, they open their school in the Elmina Castle, and you dare not attend. The only ones that attend were the half-castes and the children of the rich black men. They were the only ones attending. That is what the school of the colonizers did until the missionaries came. The first batch of Protestant missionaries came here in 1828, and they were not even British. They were from Switzerland. The colonizers, the missionaries that came here in 1828, they were not British. They were Swiss. They were Swiss. They were from Switzerland, and they settled at Ekropon. Those were the proper missionaries. So when they came, they started their preaching small at Ekropon. Then they started building their churches small and schools small. Until 1876, when they built the Infantin boys. Yes, 1876 when they built it, and it was for all boys in Ghana. You can go there if your result is good. In 1884, that was when the Wesley Girls was built. So Infantin first, Wesley second. Now, for context sake, a Muslim missionary actually came to Ghana in 1951. That was when a Muslim missionary came. When he left, 1950, they built a T.I. Ahmadiyya school. So it's not like Muslim missionaries don't came here. They came here in 1921, and then in 1950, the T.I. Ahmadiyya school was built. So from 1884, 180 something years, Muslims have been going to this Wesley school without any problem, until one particular girl came and said, they don't allow me to pray, they don't allow me to fast. Until one particular girl. Over 100 years, Muslims have been going to that school without any problem, until this one girl. Look, let me say this plain and clear. The verdict or the ruling or the passing of the court, anything the court says will still not settle this issue. If the court says that the Muslims should be allowed to wear hijab and pray, the Anglican church, the Methodist church and everything will not be happy. They will not agree to it. And if the court says that they should not be allowed, Muslims will not be happy with it. So the verdict from the court will not solve this particular issue. You understand? And if me defending my religion will mean that I am your enemy, so be it. I don't care. The first public SHS was built in 1958, which is the Suede Road Secondary School. That was so. These missionaries have actually been giving us education before the government even thought of building secondary school. And then you came one year, change the school to, you say you will not change. I don't care. I don't care if you want to. I don't care. Look, those missionary schools, the Anglican ones, was built. The Methodist, the Catholic ones, was built to teach the doctrines of the church. Yes. So if you cannot compromise, then why? So because of you, the school should change the law to why? No, like why?
I'm speechless. So I think this brings me to the end of my video. Now the room is open for you to let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Do also like, subscribe to the channel, share this video to as many eyes out there. I believe they'll watch and learn from it. And I will not forget my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for always coming back for your goal. And if this is your first time on this channel, you watch this video from beginning to this time, and you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share the video. Also do have to press the notification bell in order to get notified whenever I drop another one. Don't you want to be the first to get notified? Do that already. I love you guys always. Mwah. Before I go, I would love to apologize, yes, to those people that don't like voiceovers. I'm sorry. Bye.